세러데이 쇼다운 D+ 기아 대 BNK POX.
What's up? When LCK is stepping in the building, everybody hands go up.
Nico, another range support that is often banned, and we very rarely saw it get be available this deep in a draft, so it kind of slipped my mind, but a little bit tough to pull off with this composition. But if you catch someone with that root from Nico, and then the charm comes through, the Wukong engage, you get a good Pop Blossom angle, it is very strong, but it's hard to get access with this Poppy, with this Taliyah. And I feel like what D+'s draft has is a ton of side lane power and wave clear. Like, are you ever going to be able to get to an objective first against this comp that just constantly clears waves and threatens your sides and then can protect its sides with that Taliyah? That's my biggest problem here with how Bro's going to have to approach 5v5 team fights.
Coming into this, I guess it's not really the next season, but our next round of LCK looking pretty good in the draft. Around the map here for DK. And creating some control. You can see here, though, Closer actually laning pretty aggressively, but that's a great trade back here for Showmaker. Yeah, he's actually looking for a bit of an angle as aiming will avoid a little bit here. Is sped up as the Karma makes their way back in. There's a heroic charge. Polo taking a little bit of damage, but it's not exactly the gank Lucid was looking for. So they are going to be able to make it out. It's the cost of only a heal here in the bottom lane. As Croco and Hype doing some damage here to this Dragon, they will be able to take that one down without a contest. Looks like
not a great target for Croco here.
Well, Lucid is just going to steadfast presence his way out. Beryl is tanking a whole lot. True Shot Barrage going to soften him up there as well, but he is going to survive. Aiming wanted to use his spell shield there, but there are some vibes. That's all good. Xiu going aggressive here as Morgan is going to bounce to the other side of his circle, but the flash forward will get the flash out. Needlework almost kills him, but it's not quite enough, as I don't know about that one, Showmaker. He is just dead, and the dream of the 70-minute first blood dies with Showmaker.
It was a pretty tricky move from Bro to go, instead of saving Hype, we'll just trap Showmaker, who's going to look for a Weaver's Wall play, and Hype should be able to get out of here.
That Arcane Shift was fantastic as aiming. Boomerang Blade comes out, Polo with the heal. Will catch up though. And they are zoning, so this is still going to be a valuable gank. They're going to be taking some of these plays.
He looks for a trade there and dies.
Well, Beryl is also looking to die here as he doesn't get hit by one of those Mystic Shots, and that is going to keep him alive. Close to dying as possible in every possible scenario. But yeah, just it's not something that you really get used to. As now Showmaker is looking to die again, does use the flash this time. Great charm from Closer, and that will confirm it. Kill is stolen there by Polo, so maybe some infighting on the side of Bro. Closer here, closing in on Showmaker.
There's so much vision for Bro, by the way, all over the map, and I think there's plays like this that are empowered by that. Showmaker goes first Dragon of the game here. Croco did not have to use his Cyclone, so I think they should be pretty comfortable to start this up. Morgan.
Yeah, going a bit aggressive here as the circle is going to get Xiu out of there scot-free. And snip, snip. Not going to be too much here as the needlework actually hitting, and Morgan missing a bunch of buttons here under Xiu. Is this just a solo kill? It is! Morgan couldn't get anyway, didn't have his flash!
It alone is not going to be enough to contest. Cryo for Closer means they're looking for an angle. Croco also unseen, so D+ don't know where he is, and he's trying to catch Showmaker. Weaver's Wall too late.
Yep, Cyclone is going to interrupt it, but I don't know whether Croco is going to be able to do enough by himself. Seismic Shove, not going to get him. Showmaker looking to at least make sure that the monkey wasn't wrapping around yet again.
Might have been forced to flash, but at the end of the day, it's a huge win for D+ because they get Herald, they're going to get mid, and maybe Showmaker gets out with flash.
Does manage to flash over the wall, and Morgan does hit some buttons. We'll see whether Showmaker's going to survive. I think a Q might be enough. The auto needs to be there, and there it is. Not going to be able to make it down for any sort of dragon fight, though, as the charm is going to connect there onto Beryl. Remember, the movement speed? Well, yeah, he presses a bunch of those buttons, and he will be able to get himself out. The heal and the Shirelias being the two main ones. As Hype in this mid lane will now be able to answer. It's not going to work.
Yeah, they have to spend so much on Closer.
Never mind, that is the heroic charge, and Closer will just get cut down. Aiming grabs his first of the game.
That might be enough Cryo to get the Dragon.
Yeah, that'll get there, and that will also be feats of strength.
Yeah, as Warfare is not enough for Bro. They got two Drakes, couldn't get the Herald, couldn't get this third Dragon, so that will be D+ securing this. Yeah, I would argue, okay, we're going to have a bit of a scuffle over this Gromp.
Yep, it's going to be a denial of Croco to be able to escape as well. Still doesn't have that flash back, as there's the ulti onto two. Croco just wondering where he wants to put his Cyclone, finds the double knockup onto the bottom lane, and will be able to make his way out. And Morgan will survive as well. Bro now going to be able to move down and will be able to get some answering vision as the control ward will be replaced to deny Closer the money. Charm comes in. Lucid, I don't know. Not sure about this one, but he does survive for a while before getting put down. There's the flash forward from Closer, and it's a great spell shield from aiming to keep him alive, but still feels like the damage is kind of being done.
There's no jungler for D+ now, and in fact, with the push that you're seeing in mid, it looks like D+ are just going to trade this for inner, and they also have that Gwen on the top side. Someone needs to defend. It's going to be Morgan.
Yep, it's going to be an ulti used just to demolish the wave and do some damage here to aiming, as there it is. Otacon will be taken down here by the Bros.
And Bro finally kind of get that honest setup here because they had enough control. They can actually look to start this dragon and look for a turn, follow in perfect position for a flash Pop Blossom.
Well, there's the Cyclone as ulti comes on through. That gets rid of the Ahri. That could be a big deal, actually, as the clone will be dealt with. And Morgan going hyper-aggressive. A lot of damage here as Lucid trying to make his way out of shoes, flashing forward. Morgan will be taken out. The Gwen is a menace, but will be eliminated. And the Bros pretty happy with how this has gone so far. A lot on cooldown on the side of D+.
They're not concerned about that Pop Blossom re-engage.
In fact, no one has Flash on the side of Bro. Lucid does have his, though, as the Weaver's Wall comes on down. A little knockback there onto Hypers. It was almost a 50-50, but not able to get over that wall. And DK just lock him out and take it down.
That's the kind of shot calling I think it's been missing for Bros.
Here we go. Cyclone comes in. We'll need another one, though, if he wants to knock up aiming. And now he's just getting kited, put on a leash, and taken down. Not something you're supposed to do, I think, with monkeys, but that is fine. And if you can guarantee tempo, you don't need engage.
Oh, exactly. So that's a great way to say, like, we have a Karma lane that doesn't need the engage. Oh, Croco!
Speaking of engage, the wall is going to come in there. Showmaker turning up as they're looking to defend the president, and they are going to be able to do so. Never mind, Morgan, the Lord, will be able to take down the Sivir, but Shu finds the backline. Look at these low health bars as Hype just barely out of the way of that threaded volley, but it's Lucid that slams him into the wall and takes him down, and they'll grab a monkey as well. DK still coming out on top.
A cool attempt there for Bro, and I think the best fight they were ever going to get in that situation. Mission accomplished in terms of killing this.
He is going to be able to break open the base here for the first time as the inhibitor will
One
follow.
more try.
Oh God, the Hail Mary, the Lord is coming in, and the helicopter is just going to stop. That is an immediate landing as, okay, there was a flank angle, but now they just decide to go in. Shiu is going to fall though, and now the circle is put down, and Morgan is bouncing around and looking for the opportunities here as Hype free hitting, but the threaded volley is going to buy the space that DK need. 50 seconds now though on Shiu, and this dragon is up. Oh, the seismic shove is good. On to Morgan, and these health bars are getting lower and lower. It is another little spin here.
Will be soul point for them.
Yep, picking that one up. There's the double tap on the boomerang. Can we get rid of the jungle? It went down to 43 health. That's kind of insane, but that is soul point for the Bros as Showmaker surfing over, looking for an angle, and this position is awkward. Seismic shove doesn't quite find the mark, but heroic charge, that one definitely does, and now Showmaker can throw rocks all around the Bro Glass house, and they will be able to take down 3 in the first salvo. Hype now running the wrong direction, and Closer, there ain't no way you're getting out of this one, says Lucid, and this may just have been the last attempt from the Bros. The old Dragon for Nexus trade to come through.
I have to give it to the Bros. Both of those flank attempts were way better than I think in most cases they would have, but it still just isn't enough. Some creative problem solving, but ultimately D+ are just too big. Showmaker has the TP back in. They have the Sivir, and they clean up house. D+ bouncing back here in round 3.
That just shows how bad things were in the middle of the round last time out for DK, and how competitive it is towards the top 6 here in the league. Just barely missing out of that legend group did DK. Showmaker actually doing max damage in this game, only being... I mean, the setup is there with the Ryze or the Syndra. Less so with the Orianna, but we'll see where he does go. It is going to be the Syndra, and a huge cheer here in LoL Park because, of course, Syndra is one of Showmaker's favorites. Well, the Bros will need to get a lot done early in this game, as Cho'Gath, a bit of a favorite into the tanks.
No matter what that support pick is going to be, the Corki is just the safest one, especially trying to deal with Scatter the Weaks and trying to deal with the engage from the Scion. Corki's Valkyrie is just insane value into all of that, and his ability to shred through those resistances early, his 2-item spike in the mid game with this comp that has so much setup and follow-up for the Annie CC with this Cho'Gath feels really good. I'm a bit of a Zed anti. I think people have been watching me since Zed kind of became fringe meta, know this about me. And we as a team in general, here on the global side, aren't the biggest fans of Syndra, but it is Showmaker, right? It's his most iconic champion, I think, across his career. When you think about some of his highest highs, some of the dominance we saw back in 2021.
Let's jump onto the Rift. It's kind of funny. He did manage to collect some cute little cards there.
Maybe next time, he'll have a sign that says, "I dyed my hair red," because there's no visual way to know this. Lucid looking for a play here in mid. Scatter hits.
Yeah. Croco is coming on in. That is going to mean that Lucid is just going to walk his way back. Looking for an angle here, potentially, as he does have the Shadow down. That could be a dangerous move, but you can see Closer is not going to be jumped on there by the Zed. We are now going to have a look at this Dragon being taken. Lucid going to be lit on fire here by Apollo as the dash away, no flash invested, but it does mean that they're not going to be able to get on over and take out this Dragon. So Bro going to be able to start that stacking once again.
Croco is going to start up these grubs really early here, and with the timing of Showmaker's back with no TP, I think he should just comfortably get all 3 of them without a hitch, as Aiming's taking a ton of damage. Yeah. Croco's here, does have ult.
Yeah, and I think Lucid knows it, knows that they're going to have to make a move here as Deathmark is available, just shadows his way out.
What a great read from Croco there, saying, okay, they're not contesting grubs, and I'm going to come down here. They're looking for a play with this aggressive flanks happening in game 1.
One of the worries, though, as Polo once again tries to hold the wave. There's the ulti to interrupt the crash down as they do get the snare. But unfortunately, not quite enough damage. Dawning Shadow, is it enough? No, it's not. That's why you drink your potions, ladies and gentlemen. And Hype, he has visited the armory, and he is coming back. There was a 2+1 special on longswords.
But at the end of the day, they would have liked to get that kill. But still, the Senna is getting bigger. Barrel is a ward himself. Might be too deep.
Yeah, Lucid going forward. Deathmark is going to connect there, but he was tanking the turret. And the Deathmark not really doing too much, as Barrel is likely just dead. He is. That is going to be first blood going down here at 16 minutes and 48 seconds. So not breaking any records, but it's a late one, to say the least.
Yeah, we're just a minute away, but Bro will be able to get the Herald off of this play. The kill went over to Palu, and they are going to just get this outer on the bottom lane. Not the most high-value turret, but they get it.
Yeah, and Shiu is pushed pretty far up here, as we can see.
Morgan has ult.
Yep. That was Feats of Strength picked up by the Bros as well, as, yeah, this is the wet noodles are out, well and truly, as we've got another charge actually coming on through. Croco in potentially some trouble, but Polu's there to defend. They don't go for anything here, as there's a bit of a knock-up.
But they should be able to get this objective.
But it's very tanky. It's a Mount Drake, right? As a Magnustorm onto a solo Showmaker, doesn't have flashes. He just used it to try to escape, and so he's just dead. Morgan comes in and says, that looks like a meal. Didn't actually have Feast, so doesn't get a stack for it, but still they just take down the Syndra and then get the Dragon for themselves. And this is exactly the timing that Bro needed, right? This is where they're hitting their spikes and they're making DK sweat for it, as there's the knock-up onto Shiu. He's kind of happy to be the target. As you can see, he's still got 50% of his health bar. Not too worried about being lit on fire, as DK still wanting to stand their ground and find something, as Lucid will catch Polu.
This is a choke point.
Yeah, in goes Croco now, as Aiming in a bit of trouble. That's a great cue from Shiu to try and lock him down, but Beryl trying to get out of there. Tibbet coming on down as well, as Beryl's still walking, but not for much longer. Down he goes. Closer grabs that one, and that is, if there were more feats to be gathered, the feats of warfare to come on through as well, as a teleport in, immediate rupture. Showmaker, why are you dead? That was not what you wanted to see. It is the Scion getting a kill back, and now Lucid does find the backline and takes down the Annie. But now Shiu going to be turned into a zombie and is going to, yeah, just chase them down. The Bros really performing well in that last fight and making themselves a decent gold advantage after. This is another Otacon start here, down to 4k health, as DK will make it to the area. Polo just dies. That is about it. It is going to be the feast for Morgan, though, to lock down the Otacon, but now, can they stay alive? That's the question. Morgan is absolutely massive and does have the rest of the team behind him. That's a big old knock up there, as she also finding one. And yeah, Morgan just rupturing, yelling at them. and is taking so long to go down. Finally he does, as the Dawning Shadow to keep DK alive, but there is still a turret here to get the bros out, and Hype still taking a fair bit there as the Shadow does go down. We get a big old zoom in as the Shurikens don't quite find the angle. 5 members of DK, low health bars, and down goes Showmaker. Question mark pings all over my brain after that one, as Shio also just going to be rocketed. It's a double for Hype in this bottom lane.
Palu's back too. Lucid's got to get out of here.
Yeah, he will be able to do so. Does have those shadows.
Man, it's starting to look like we're going to a game 3 here. It's only a small lead for Bro, but how they're playing these fights and how big Hype is suddenly becoming. D+ could have also just walked away. And then Closer dodges here, and Hype, sitting at 3/4 of his health bar, plus the turret is going to help out here. Makes the clutch play to punish Syndra, knows exactly the angle Showmaker is trying to take, and unfortunately, Shiu also under turret aggro, so Hype picks up.
And also Palu, not really going to be able to engage without sacrificing himself immediately. That health bar is just not very large, as Lucid skirting around the fight. Force of Will onto Tibbers. There's a big knock up there from Morgan though. Magnustorm does find them, and the flash out is attempted there from Showmaker, but he still just gets nommed down. They take out Hype though. Lucid soon to follow, and oh my god, this guy is just so big. Morgan, of course, is who I'm talking about, but still the fight is very even. Croco now fighting Beryl and aiming. And the zombie Scion comes down. Will take some money there for killing the Tibbers, but the rest of D+ will back away. And aiming and Beryl just not quite able to fight through that front line.
It looked so rough for Bro on the outset, but the engage there, pushing back Showmaker and aiming. And then
as DK well and truly on the back foot at this point in time, Morgan lumbering over, and there's the Magnet Storm. Lucid just yelled at, will get taken down. Croco taking a bit of damage here off the outset, as the Scat of the Week will connect as well.
They can just go for the Baron here potentially. Like this is not a feast used.
Why does he have so much health? It is just insane. I mean, they are on this Baron.
Palu on the angle.
If they're given any more time, this is just going to explode. There is no smite. DK gonna have to kill them if they don't want them to take this, as there is the engage from Palu. Doesn't have the Magnet Storm anymore, but they will be able to take down this Baron. Decent knock up there from Chiu as they take out the Rel. Tibbers goes down as well. Morgan is almost, oh, he's flashing forward. This guy is an absolute insane person, and he takes down Showmaker to start off the fight. I guess he's still got a regular champion's health bar. It just doesn't look like that because he's missing about 7 regular champions health bars in his health bar.
Morgan is on 10 stacks. We haven't seen a Cho'Gath this big in years.
Yeah, that Demolish proc did about 40 bajillion damage to that turret, and it is now just dead.
Jack shows with Mountain Soul potentially here in 40 seconds. I don't know if Morgan dies a second time in this game.
Showmaker is just not having the greatest of games thus far, as Bro looking for a fight here, is aiming, wanting to stay safe. Beryl, he's not going to be able to do that. Tibbers is now zoning away the rest of them. Shiu goes in. Can he get out, though, is the question, as Flash is up, but he had no way to really use it.
Morgan didn't even want to feast. He wants to save it. He was trying to give him Uber Eats there. Atlas, he was like, I'm coming to you.
Oh, no, he wants another one. That Scat of the Week was fantastic, though, as the Audacious Charge came in. I just don't think it's going to do anything, as this turret is going to explode, and the base will be broken open on this Baron push. The Rebel Baron power play sitting at 4.5k for the Bros, and they're looking to make it 3 games here in their first time out, round 3. And maybe they're overstaying, but no, it looks like this inhibitor will go down. Lucid on a flank angle, but he's a Zed. I mean, what is he going to do? The Flash Scatter does come in there, as Closer is also tagged now. Croco looking for an angle. Beryl stands beside them, but once again, it is Showmaker taking a nap, and that might be for the last time in this game, as the Nexus could just be put down. The Scion has respawned, as in goes Lucid to find an angle, but the Dawning Shadow doesn't get anything. And the Bros continue to just make their way out. They're like, just let us go, guys.
Yeah,
do you want us to kill you again?
Morgan's got a Mountain Soul to eat.
Well, the train is going to leave the station, but remember, the rest of them have to get past the Cho'Gath, and that is going to be so hard. Lucid gets into the backline with the death mark, but then he just explodes. The knock-up is there from the 3-talon strike out of Croco, and now Beryl going to get chopped up as well. And I think DK, they know that the way out of this series is through a game 3, and that is precisely what Bro are going to give them, as Apollo is diving forward once again. Shiu does manage to help take him down, but that is a worthy sacrifice. And yes, I think the Syndra is not going to be enough to defend here, as Morgan is almost down to another 1,000 hit points. Oh wait, maybe he's gonna die. There we go. That's a bunch of money over to aiming that he will maybe be able to spend next game. There this one goes, as the Nexus will be taken here, and it's game 3 time between DK and Bro.
Sure, Bro could have played a little bit more aggressively on objectives, but once they got that first team fight win, you could see around 19 minutes where they get that big gold lead, they never let go of the game. Hype does 45,000 damage. He's almost at 1.5k DPM in this game. Pretty insane.
Yeah. For the mid jungle, so I'm put on a lot of pressure. Is Cassiopeia, okay.
Cool. You set up a pillar and then Cassiopeia grounds you, you're dead. So all champions here who rely on not being grounded quite heavily. Yeah. And it also sets up really well for Equalizer in these team fights too. And the amount of warping of the terrain that this Trundle pillar can do when you already have this tanky Alistar as well gives you a lot of really powerful angles in team fights. I do think D+'s draft is a lot more meta. It's a lot more figured out. It's a lot more solved. And it's a draft that I think is going to be arguably way more well-practiced than Bro kind of flexing here a little bit.
To get into game number 3, the Bros with a fun composition. D+, a little bit more meta than last time. Let's get into it. I don't quite remember very much Close of Cassiopeia, so I'm going to have to look it up.
I have no tablet or laptop with me today, so
his depth charge is not going to worry about it too much. Okay, Polo taking a bit of damage here. Finds a headbutt Pulv though. Level 4 has been picked up as Aiming going to swap his focus over towards this Lucian. They do get the heal out. Our barrier has been expended, but so is the heal now. The Dragon going to be picked up because they need to deal with this minion wave that is coming in. Xiu going to look to try and dash over this little house. There's public execution going to come on through, but there's the double dash. Doesn't need to flash, but does expend the ulti, which will take down some of his control towards that top side. Is a little bit behind enemy lines now. Headbutt Pulv does come on through.
What?
Barrel, I don't know about that hook. Croco's going to move over. Amy's going to have to flash if he wants to get out, but there's the Sonic Wave coming over, and Lucid finds his way out with a safeguard. Barrel will be there. Never mind. He's just going to get into this grub pit, and then... Question. He'll die. As Croco comes on over and just eats the Big Daddy. Down he goes. In fact, Closer gets that kill. A big deal here.
It's Barrel on Nautilus with level 6. Diving this is tough.
Well, there's another hook to come in. The Pulverize is going to connect as Aiming does go down as now Croco with the Subjugate running. Lucid is going to come on over, but now Croco just kind of doesn't have anywhere to go and he is just dead. There are 2 kills coming on through as Polo was tanking the turret for a little bit longer than he really wanted to and does just kind of fall.
Okay, well, he's already...
Well, we're flashing forward. Morgan! The Lord just solo kills Xiu!
Okay, well, that's a big win. But then they both died.
I don't think that was it. I think he just picked up aggro by mistake.
Oh, okay, I thought he actually was trying to hold it there. Either way, Morgan in the first-person view.
Oh, just more than small skirmishes. Lucid standing on a ward here. They knew exactly what was going on, but the hook is still going to connect. There is the exhaust. Knockup is good from the Pulverize, but Polo is still likely to just be dead as the Realm Warp comes on in. The back scratcher down there for Hype as the culling doesn't really do too much. Petrifying Gaze only onto 1. There's now Croco staying alive for so long. God, Trundle is so broken, man. And Equalizer, Showmaker takes that walk, but decides he needs to flash out of it, and you can understand why. That is going to mean that the Rift Herald should go over to the Bro.
It's a big trade up for Bro, and it's Croco secures that kill there. Triforce online, doing so much damage, and Showmaker's just unable to really get into the fight.
Mountain Drake up and available. Everyone is alive here, unless... Oh, a pillar! God, that pillar is so good. Showmaker well and truly dead once again, and that should mean that the Dragon will go over to the Bros, and Lucid, he was ready to start that off.
Beats his strength, or at least the turret. Here for Bro, they need one more kill, as you were alluding to, or one more objective, but it's the feat they get from it. First brick, and they're looking for more here.
Barrel, can you do enough damage to this? The answer is no, and maybe you're going to die for it. As Aiming, we need you to come back. Barrel's going to get knocked up, and they're just going to give him up for the Ghost. Down goes the Nautilus. It's another quizzical...
in game 1, I said maybe the shot calling is fixed. Maybe it's looking better. It's a good look. I mean, this is Croco finding all these angles, man. Look at this pillar, just on the edge, so perfectly placed. And the follow-up is there because Showmaker's out by himself. Like, no one can peel for him. No one can do anything. All he has to do is pillar.
Yeah, it was a perfect pillar.
Poser impressed.
Yep.
Not gonna repeat that one.
Yeah, well, there's a Q missing, and that's going to mean that this Dragon does go over to the Bros. They're on the board now. as that's just bullet time. Sometimes you just want to press your R button, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly how aiming was feeling.
Like, he can't do anything. Oh, another fight here.
Anchor is just going to go haywire there as they are looking to disengage the fight. Lucid gets out with a safeguard. That is just going to be fight over. And as a teleport in from Polo as another fantastic pillar comes down. That gets the bullet time out as Beryl has to flash. He doesn't find the turret. Polo gets underneath it as well, and he's got the unbreakable will. It's a double for Hype, and that should mean even more here for the bros as the Otacon could be on the menu. Yeah. We saw what they were capable of in Game 1. We have not seen that since. Game 2 was... It was a lot of things.
Or doors maybe, but it's good at prying open Game 3s.
Well, Croco going to look for an angle here as another Culling just going to get soaked here by Beryl. He gets an ult out, he interrupts it, but he's dead. And so Polo ghosting around here. Showmaker, what are we doing? Why are we here? He is going to try and get out, but it is another pillar from Croco. But my God, this Trundle has been so good. As public execution is going to miss, but we'll see whether Morgan is still going to die. Make it rain. Comes on down, and oh my God, the Lord is going to turn it as they take down Chiu. Aiming now in trouble. Lucid goes in desperately, trying to find the angle, but Morgan doesn't get hit by those. Aiming is flashing in, and they are tilted off the planet. DK are looking to get crushed. Lucid is going to taxi out using his own red buff, as this time Showmaker is not going to get completely destroyed by the pillar. As aiming with a Make It Rain, trying to split this fight up as Hype could be in trouble. He's kicked back. Down goes Lucid though, and Hype is just out of range of the bullet time. He stays alive, and the depth charge isn't even enough to kill him. It's Beryl's turn just to dive face forward. He does get his target.
Just can't do anything, bro. Take the inhibitor, take the Baron. That's what Chronicler's already tweeting about, I'm sure.
Well, Hype is now going to get tagged by a Sonic Wave, but Polo is just getting Lucid out of here. Showmaker trying to flash away, but Croco is just going to kill him. Now Polo finding the backline perfectly as the Equalizer goes down just to assassinate the Misfortune. Showmaker goes down as a bit of an afterthought here, and the bros will conquer DK here in the first match. Chiu, he's going to dash around a little bit. His public execution was swift and merciless. And the bros, yeah, they took a little bit of a timeout in the first game, but they absolutely came back with a vengeance in the next two and will lay claim to the first series of round 3.
Punished by bullets. Trundle is strong, but Croco made it look unbeatable.
Even if the bro tax is a little bit late, wasn't coming through, that history could repeat itself.
At least he can't run drafts back anymore in Fearless.
That is a very good point. We're not going to get multiple Talia Pantheons in 3-zip finals and things like that. That was quite a long time ago that he was on Griffin back then. Hype having a phenomenal performance, though, back-to-back games. The Corki and Evolution looking fantastic.
I think you could vote Morgan, Croco, or Hype. Morgan's Cho'Gath, his Rumble was amazing. Croco, I voted for him. I thought he was the most consistent player across all 3 games. He had an amazing Xin Zhao game.
I would have voted for him just for the pillar.
He ruled this game with some fantastic pillars, but then Hype, similar story, incredibly consistent across the series and was very, very strong in games 2 and 3. Croco is going to get it. I think there's a little bit of recency bias on that game 3, but his Xin Zhao was deathless, was really, really a big part of what they were able to do with that Cho'Gath, and then he was able to find those Wukong flanks despite the loss in game 1. He just really has been super proactive today, super confident.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the POM interview translation of the first match of round 3. Joined by Croco on the side of OK Savings Bank Rayon. Congratulations! It was a comeback, and you ended your 3 LCK match losing streak and got your first win of round 3. You must be quite happy. Yeah, it feels great. What does this victory mean to you? You know, despite the outcome last time, I feel like we had a pretty decent performance, and I'm really happy that we're able to show up and get this great victory today. And following round 2, you defeated D plus Kia again in round 3. And you took down the #1 team in Rise Group. So what makes you particularly strong against DK? You know, we got a new head coach. And I think we were really trying to stay on the same page and get our synergy up there. And we really wanted to build up our chemistry. So we actually have been watching movies and spending a lot of time with each other. So I think that's what really helped. Yeah, it must be all the team activities that got you to this point. So after head coach Duke joined, is there anything that's different now?
듀크 감독님이 어쨌든 게임 보는 눈이 되게 높으셔서
You know, I think Duke has a very good understanding of the game, and he has a really good read. So I think it really does help us being led by someone like him. And Kroko, you are the OG rookie king, and you really showed up with that aura. So what was really the game plan for top?
브루저 구도를 되게 자신 있어하고 좋아해가지고.
I think Morgan is really good with the tank and the bruiser type of champions. And I just thought, you know, as long as I'm able to feed him, I think he's going to repay everything that I do for him. And in game 3, the enemy took Lee Sin against Trundle. And with Lee Sin being so agile, it could have been so challenging, but your pillars were just no joke. So how are you so good at hitting your pillars? You know, we tried to coordinate off of champions that we were good at. And I think we just played out the game thinking that we had better and higher value champions. And I think that's just, you know, I think I just had that in-game sense that allowed me to put the pillars down. And today, the overall match was so intense. So when were you certain that you won the game? You know, in game 1, we were able to start off with a lot of advantage. And I thought that the flow was going really well at first, and we ended up slipping, and that's a regretful 2-1 victory. But I think at the start of game 3 and the draft, and I think that's when we already knew that we won. And with the new format in round 3, we have Rise and Legend group, and a lot of people are saying that this format is really fun. So what is your perspective on it? As a player, I feel like I've been playing in opening matches a lot, quite often. And I think, you know, going into an opening match, I go in with a very exciting mindset that I really want to win. And I think it's really fun. I'm just really glad that I was able to win today. Yeah, what a pleasant start to round 3. Moving forward, what are your goals? Now, I want to make sure that my performance is up to par as much as our fans expect. And I don't think it'll be as easy to get rank 1 and the top spot of our group, but we're going to keep on trying to show you the best performance that we have. And that's the end of the interview with Kroko, and back to the space. Thank you.